Hi and welcome to the video where I'll be comparing two different models of LG Magic Remote, and at the end of the video I'll tell you which one I prefer. And I'd love to hear your opinions on these remotes, so be sure to leave a comment and subscribe for more comparison videos just like this. The two remotes I have are the MR19BA remote, which works with the WebOS 5 LG Smart TV, and the newer MR21GA, which is a remote for the WebOS 6 LG Smart TV. I'll refer to these as the WebOS 5 and WebOS 6 remotes going forward. Looking at the two remotes standing up, they are of a similar height. When brought together, you can see that the WebOS 6 remote is just a little bit taller. The WebOS 5 remote is able to stand by itself like a skittle, and this is due to its flat base. The WebOS 6 remote has a curved base, a rounded off base. This means it is unable to stand. Looking at the underside of the two remotes, we can see that the WebOS 5 remote is more narrow and rounded towards the top, whereas the WebOS 6 remote is more squared off. The battery compartment on the WebOS 5 remote is more rounded towards the bottom, whereas on the WebOS 6 remote it's more flat. On the WebOS 5 remote we can see two notches just at the top here, and these aid with stability when laid flat. As you can see, the remote does tilt from side to side. However, in normal use, it won't rock completely over. The WebOS 6 remote is completely flat here, so when turned over, it has complete stability. Both the WebOS 5 and WebOS 6 remotes take AA batteries, and I will add, in my experience, the WebOS 5 remote control is a bit more battery hungry. When comparing the shape of the two, the WebOS 5 remote is more curvy and bulbous around the center, whereas the WebOS 6 remote is narrow throughout. In terms of button differences between the two remotes, you can see on the WebOS 5 remote, we have a dedicated button here which can be used for secondary devices such as cable boxes. On the WebOS 6 remote, there is no such button. On the WebOS 5 remote, we have the numbers on horizontal strips of rubber, whereas on the WebOS 6 remote, they are individual round buttons. The WebOS 5 remote has individual buttons for volume up and volume down, as well as channel up and channel down. On the WebOS 6 remote, we have a vertical rubber strip for volume up and down, and the same vertical rubber strip for channel up and channel down. Some of the button shapes are also different, with the WebOS 5 remote having some oval buttons and round buttons, whereas the WebOS 6 remote has round buttons mostly throughout. There's also a change in location for the settings button between the two. On the WebOS 5 it's here, on WebOS 6 it's down here. Also the source button is located here on WebOS 5, on WebOS 6 it's over here on the right hand side, and also the guide button, which is just here on WebOS 5, up here on WebOS 6. The directional pad on the WebOS 5 remote has an arrow for up, right, down and left, whereas the WebOS 6 does not have these directional cues. On the WebOS 5 remote, we can see that the center is slightly raised, and out of that is the tracker wheel, and it's quite slim. On the WebOS 6 remote, you'll notice that the tracker wheel is in a slightly recessed area and is broader. When you roll the tracker wheels for the two, the WebOS 5 remote is slightly more dampened compared to the WebOS 6 remote. Both of these remotes have buttons for services. On the WebOS 5 remote, there's a button for Netflix, a button for Prime, and one for movies. On the WebOS 6 remote, we have a button for Netflix, Prime Video, Disney, Rakuten, Google Assistant, and Alexa. They both have 4 colored buttons, And the older WebOS 5 remote has a dedicated play and pause button, whereas the WebOS 6 does not. Looking at the writing, the fonts on these remote controls, you can see that the WebOS 5 remote has a brighter tone. Also, the descriptions underneath the buttons are bolder, whereas here they're rather grey. So there we have it, the comparison between the WebOS 5 and WebOS 6 remotes, and do click on the link in the description which will take you to a video where I compare the WebOS 5 TV and the WebOS 6 TV. Back to the remotes. If I have to choose between the two, I will choose the WebOS 5 remote, and there are a couple of reasons why, notably the extra power button just at the top here, which I do find useful. There are fewer advertising buttons compared to the WebOS 6 remote. I just feel the tracker wheel is a bit better quality over the WebOS 6, and the directional buttons, although not functional, are just an extra nice touch for me. It just makes the remote feel a little bit more premium, and that's the reason why I will go for the WebOS 5 remote. With that said, the WebOS 6 is a perfectly functional remote, and if you have this, you can be more than happy because they're both magic remotes. Well, what do you think? Let me know in the comments, tell me which one you prefer. Is there something you'd like to take from one remote and put onto the other, or is there something that I've missed that you really like or dislike? Let me know. Thank you very much for choosing my video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.